What is going on, guys? It is Wog Talk Sport here. Welcome to my channel. This is my first ever video on this channel. I hope you do enjoy it. This channel is realistically going to be based around basketball and football news. So if you really do enjoy this stuff, I hope you subscribe to my content, give it a like and thumbs up. What are we going to be talking about today? Today we're going to be talking about what Victor Oladipo has taught us about the league. This guy has come in from Orlando and he's been balling out at Indiana. So let's have a look. What has Oladipo taught us about the league? Victor Oladipo was drafted 4-5 years ago. He has spent 3 seasons with Orlando. He spent 1 with Oklahoma, and now he currently resides in Indiana. This guy is definitely a front runner for most improved player. His stat line shows that he has been an absolute baller, putting up endless 30-point games, making big shots, and just proving as a player who can realistically make shots, create space for his teammates, and also win games. Now, as Oladipo has made his move from Oklahoma, when he was in Oklahoma, his time was very not that good. His stats didn't show anything. He spent a year not really doing much, but it seems that now in Indiana, he is his own person. He's able to move the ball and do whatever he wants. He is the go-to option. He's someone that Indiana heavily rely on to get wins. When we actually have a look at the stat line of Oladipo, he's currently averaging 24.3 a game with 5.2 rebounds and 4 assists. He's currently shooting at 49% roughly, and this is a big increase from his actual career stats. When you have a look at his career stats, he's shooting 8 more points, getting 1 more rebound, and almost 0.3 of assists more. If we even have a deeper look into Oladipo's stats, as we can see, he's played for 5 seasons. He's currently in his 5th season, 3 with Orlando, 1 with OKC, and 1 with Indiana. When we have a look at his total stats, we see that his field goal percentage and his field goal attempts have increased sufficiently. Looking at all of his stats, his points, his assists, his rebounds, everything about Oladipo from his 2016 to 17 season to his 2017 to 18 season is increasing. As we can see, his field goal percentage has gone up. His field goals taken per game have also continued to rise. When we also have a look, his 3-point attempt gone up. 3-point percentage also continues to rise. He's a player that is, as he's become the first option on the Indiana Pacers, he is extremely increasing his stat line. Also, if we have a look at his 3-point percentage, it's actually gone up from 4.91 to 5.286. I think that is there. It's just proving how when you become an option on a team, you immediately can increase your stats. When we look at his points, that's the biggest kicker here. Oladipo, when he spent his time in OKC, averaged 15.9, whereas now with Oklahoma, he's currently averaging 24.3. That's a very big change within 1 season. And also when you have a look at his assists and his rebounds, although he's the first option, the first scoring option, you see that even his assists have increased over his last season from 2.6 to 4, and his rebounds are currently floating around the same. But even though he doesn't need to rebound, he's still doing it, and he's showing how vital he is to this team. And we learn this when we have a look at this little stretch here from December 27 to January the 3rd. When Oladipo was injured, the Pacers lost to the Mavericks, Bulls, Timberwolves, and Bucks by quite decent margins. However, when he comes back in January the 6th against the Bulls, they win by a huge margin. Oladipo puts up 23 and 9 to help them get the win, showing that he is the most improved player. But this brings up a question. Oladipo is doing so well. How come he wasn't doing good last year? Let me introduce you to Russell Westbrook. This guy is an amazing player, do not get me wrong. But I have a problem with him and having other players on his team. While he is an amazing player, he's a very ball-dominant player. And someone like Oladipo also needs the ball. So the system he was in last year was definitely not suited to him. Oladipo needed that ball. And with Paul George and Carmelo being there this year, we see that the Thunder have had struggles. This is a thing we've learned in the NBA. The Oklahoma City Thunder are currently still having a win ratio, but they're currently struggling to work it out. As we can see, we're going to have a look at Paul George and Carmelo Anthony's stats. We see last year when Paul George was with the Pacers, his stats actually haven't dramatically decreased. When we have a look at his 3-point percentage, while that has risen, his 3-pointers have risen, there are other little stats that we see with Paul George that have gone down. As we can see in his points, he's putting down a couple less points, but that's to be expected when you play with someone like Westbrook, who is so ball dominant. However, Paul George's defense has really stepped up, proving that although Paul George is with Westbrook, he's still having a good season. When we have a look at what he's doing currently now, averaging 25 and 3 for this season is better than his career. So he's playing pretty well. Paul George is not really being affected by Westbrook's mentality. We learned that in the NBA, that when you have someone that is so dominant on the ball, you really need to share. You really need to, if you are a role player in that team, share the ball around and get it to that player as much as possible. PG is a very solid player, and with Westbrook, he's currently doing well. But let's have a look at the flip side of this. Let's have a look at Carmelo Anthony. He's played in the league for so long, drafted in 2003. This is his first year into the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, comparing him to last season with the Knicks, we see his points have dramatically dropped. They've dropped off by about 6. But then you got to remember, realistically, he's the third scoring option, because Westbrook and Paul George would be in front of him. Looking at his complete stat line, though, we see 3-point percentage has just slightly increased, but when you're taking more, obviously there's a more chance of that increasing. We see other stats that he's got there, and he's averaging 18, 6, and 2. However, throughout his whole career, he's averaged 25. Once again, I understand he's the second or third scoring option on a team, but what is this that we really learn with Oklahoma City? We learn that 3 ball-dominant players cannot work on a team. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love watching these guys together, but when you see what Westbrook, Paul George, and Melo are bringing to the table, you need them on separate teams. So, ladies and gentlemen, what does this teach us about the NBA? Number 1, Victor Oladipo, most improved player. His stats have increased. He's meant so much to the Pacers. He's won them games several times, and he's putting on a show currently in Indy. Number 2, we're seeing how vital he is to this team. As we said, we saw there was that stretch where he was injured and he did not play, and it just proves how important he is. And what else do we learn? We learned that Oklahoma need to get their act together. Russell Westbrook, a very ball-dominant player, same with Paul George and Melo. Although they're currently 25 and 20 to this date, it's something that they need to work on, as having 3 ball-dominant players is very difficult for a team to see, and we can see their struggles pretty blatantly. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this episode, guys. Please like, subscribe to Wog Talk Sports, and have an awesome day.